It's a landmine.
Lethal Company ain't your run-of-the-mill experience. Now, I ain't one to boast about the size of things, but as my lady says, the tiniest things can pack the mightiest wallop. And what sets Lethal Company apart is the proximity chat, a small feature so grand it could charm the birds out of the trees. But let's peel away the layers, shall we? Is there more to this game than just fancy chat? Well, if you like to shit your pants with tears of laughter rolling down your chops, then this might just be your cup of tea. So stick the kettle on, make yourself a proper cuppa, and let's have a butcher's in this early access review. Lethal Company at its bare minimum is a co-op game, but it's proper brilliant when you've got a squad of 4 mates getting stuck in together. Your role here is to touch down on planets, root around for scrap metal and other bits of old crap, all whilst the day proceeds into night. In total, you've got a strict 3-day deadline to hit your salvage quota, or it's game over. Now here's the twist: each time you plonk your ship down, you're staring into the abyss of a procedurally generated warehouse, which is where all the salvage metal can be found. The fear of the unknown is enough to make even Jeffrey Epstein himself rise from the dead, mistaking your screams for a child's bellow. We're talking colossal monsters, dodgy creepy crawlies, ghosts, and a darkness so thick you could spread it on your morning toast. It's a proper horror show as you and the gang battle through these frightful rooms, all whilst trying to snatch up enough scrap metal before evil decides to join the party. The tension at times is thicker than a bowl of my nan's custard, and let it be known she's been dead for years, so you can only imagine how thick that bowl of custard is right now. And as you're trotting through the madhouse, teamwork becomes the name of the game. Figuring out which bloody door you stumbled through and how to haul back your loot before the creepy crawlies start their night shift is the real challenge. Once you cash in your bits and bobs, you can spend it on handy gear like a torch or a walkie-talkie to chinwag with your mates from a distance. What tickled my fancy though is the ordering system on the computer. None of them drop-down boxes that are point and click like you get in other games. Instead, it's more like wrestling with an MS-DOS prompt. You've got to type in your request like you're having a proper natter with the machine, and I for one am all for it. And there's more. Your ship's kitted out with a camera and a map, so if your mates are off on a jolly inside the warehouse searching for metal, you can stay back and be the eyes in the sky, guiding them through the muck or unlocking secure doors. But the gameplay is not all perfect here. The progress feels a bit wonky at this stage. That walkie-talkie battery drains quicker than Danny D's bollocks, and the difficulty is a bit like life in the East End. It's unforgiving. Death will come knocking like a nosy neighbour, and it can leave you feeling proper pissed when a decent run gets cut short. But mind you, these are just minor quibbles in a game that is still in its nappies. But gather round, lads, because we're actually going to dive here into the soundscape of Lethal Company before we even speak about the graphics. This, I tell ya, is a proper earworm, and that's what elevates it above any other gameplay mechanic on display here. The sound design is so well executed and so well thought out that it has this weird tendency to actually make you laugh out loud, and that's a rare sight in gaming today. First off, the voice proximity in this gig is like nothing I've ever come across before. Your mate's voices gently fade in and out to give you the lowdown on the distance within the building that you're searching. It might not be groundbreaking in itself, but it's done with such purpose here. I've been stuck in pitch black darkness before, relying on nothing but a distant voice to steer me to the light, and the proximity chat reacts to the environment to double down on the atmosphere. Picture this: you're in a vast metal room, but your mate's voices bounces off the walls like a game of vocal ping pong echoing throughout. Underwater, you bet your boots it sounds all muffled and gargly before you hear them drowning. If a monstrous alien bug sits on your mate's face, and I bet he's been doing that all bloody weekend, well, no worries, their screams match the suddenness of their demise as their voices sound muffled and out of breath. Lethal Company gets that sound is like a wizard's wand conjuring up tension in the air. Well, it ain't all serious business. These moments are also the ones that have you in tears of laughter. My dark mate was yammering on about their dull life, only to mistime a jump and plunge to their doom. The beauty of it was that their voice echoed down into the abyss as they kept on droning about their mundane life story. I absolutely pissed myself. But it ain't just the banter from your mates that's top notch. The creepy sounds of things banging in the distance, monsters growl, the thunderous footsteps of who knows what lurks nearby. It's like stepping into the realm of phasmophobia. But in my book, the soundscape here, it actually works better. As for graphics, remember, we're talking about an early access build here. Lethal Company sports a distinctive art style, and for the most part, it works well. It's got that retro video game vibe, like a blast from the past in the arcades. The animation's got a bit of the old jank, but that just adds to the laughs. Still, a bit of extra polish here as they carry on with the development wouldn't go amiss. Currently, there ain't much in the way of graphical options. It's like having a fancy motor with no gears to shift. The assets are a bit on the low res side, so the visual quality depends on your screen resolution, which you can't even tweak at the moment, and there's no ultra wide support for those flaunting the posh screens. Jaggies, they're everywhere. I've seen zebra stripes with straighter lines. Slapping on a bit of AA could do wonders if it actually existed. You see, Lethal Company is like Among Us VR, but without the gleam and the gloss. It is open, we'll see some graphical options in the future that keep the heart and soul of the art style, whilst giving it a bit of the old Kardashian spit and polish, just like the modern indie titles. With the success it's raking in, fingers crossed they'll splash some of the cash on the visual front. And here we are, my lovely lot, at the crux of it all. This game, with its cracking sound design, interesting gameplay mechanics and downright brilliant social banter, can be yours for a mere tenner. That's right, in a world where they're trying to fleece you for $70 AAA games that are as half-baked as my nan's mince pies, and yes, remember, she is dead here, we've got quite the opposite in Lethal Company. Honestly, if they slapped a $25 price tag on this one, I'd still say it's worth a look. Sadly, it's one of those games best enjoyed with your mates, as playing with random online tossers can be a right headache, but at the price, you could drop $40 on it for yourself and toss a couple of copies to your little gang. Now, as for the score, Cockney Gamer Gang policy here is to always dish out a rating for any early access game that's charging you, but don't get it twisted. This 6 out of 10 ain't because it's just average or a dodgy investment. It's far from it. It's a blindingly enjoyable jaunt into a game that's got the potential to stick around for years. The score, though, takes a bit of a knock for the limited maps, the same old assets doing the rounds, and the lack of graphical options. The repetition of missions can hit you like a double-decker bus, but on the flip side, it means that this game has got room to grow. I, for one, can't wait to give it another look in 18 months or so and see where it lands. It's a bit odd to say this, but for $10, this 6 out of 10 game is an absolute must-have. Until next time, my lovelies, Reggie out.